16 official symptoms of perimenopause. Are any of them cute?
Would you call vaginal dryness cute?
Dr. Adiele Hoffman, welcome to What the Flo.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for being here and thank you for having me.
Why women's health for you, Adiele?
Well, I'm a general practitioner, so I see all stages of life. But women's health has stood out to me for a while, the last few years particularly, partly because it's so in parts under research. And I feel like it's an area that we need to do a lot of work in to bring everyone up to speed. And that's both men and women.
So is that frustrating or, you know, the challenge is actually quite exciting?
A bit of both. Yeah. I mean, it's very frustrating in that when I see some women who have a certain symptom that we just can't say, yes, it's this, because women haven't been included in the trial or that symptom hasn't been looked at because for whatever reason, historically, women were very underrepresented in clinical trials and research.
Well, clinical trials, women are considered to be small men, right?
Well, yeah, exactly that. I mean, but absolutely we're not.
No, clearly. We're much better. Research, Adiele, shows that 90% of women never learned about menopause in school and more than 60% still don't know what to expect.
Yeah, what
That's
a figure.
wild.
Yeah. Well, that exactly just highlights it. So it's not only research, but actually it's the general population, it's schools, it's education, and women are getting all the way through. Yeah, they might have learned about periods a little bit about puberty, probably not much about sex. And then we get to menopause and no one's ever heard of it. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's a big,
but it's a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah.
So we are going to do a little quick fire, Adiele. It's called What the FAQ. So hit me. What is the difference between menopause and perimenopause?
So perimenopause is the years leading up to menopause and the 12 months after your last period. Okay, you still with me?
I'm still with you.
Menopause is your last period. So it's a point in time.
Okay.
Okay.
And your last period is defined by it never coming back within 12 months?
Well, yes. So it's defined by it never coming back again.
Full stop.
But
Ever.
But we don't know that that's happened until 12 months after. Then we can say, yeah, it's gone. It's not coming back.
Does perimenopause mean you're old?
Oh, what a question. Absolutely not. So you know what? Many women are now living about 40% of their lives after menopause. That's a
fabulous at it.
Exactly. So it's just another stage. It's just the next stage. You've got childhood, you've got puberty, you've got the reproductive years, and then you've got postmenopause.
Okay. So it's good. Lean in. Does your period stop right away?
No, in a word. So perimenopause probably lasts between 4 and 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, it's a long time. Not for everyone, but yeah, that's the average. So during that time, in the lead up to your last period, you're going to get changes in your cycle. So there will be signs for most women that periods are changing and then stop.
Okay. Can you get pregnant during perimenopause?
So yes, technically it's still possible. So during perimenopause, ovulation becomes a bit sporadic, unpredictable, but it can still happen, in which case, you know, if it does happen, pregnancy can still occur. So ovulation happens, pregnancy is a possibility.
Okay. Is your husband breathing annoyingly a perimenopause symptom?
So irritability is, yes. And that means that all those little things that, you know, you'd normally brush off, you can move on, it's okay, you deal with them, kind of become big and harder to deal with.
And that's a hormonal thing, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So lots of things are going on. It can impact your sleep, it can impact your mood, and all of those things can make you more irritable and just have less tolerance, less reserve.
Okay. Unexpected symptoms. Let's talk about them, because I think there are ideas around hot flashes. We all know as soon as we hear menopause or perimenopause, there's a kind of, we know that it's the one that's maybe most spoken about, but are there unexpected symptoms that we should really be on the lookout for?
Oh yeah, for sure. So as you've said, hot flashes kind of actually come quite late as well. So early on in perimenopause, those are not really the things that everyone experiences. We see those at the end, you know, just before the final period and actually just after. But before that, we've got a whole host of other symptoms and actually some quite unusual, kind of weird ones. So things like digestive issues, joint aches and pains, brain fog, fatigue, low energy.
At that period of life, a lot of people will have kids, young kids, teenage kids, whatever stage that is, you know, careers in kind of full flight. Maybe they're looking after parents who are on the decline. And so that brain fog, I think, can be kind of explained away because of just life busyness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, there's huge amounts of pressure on women in and around perimenopause age.
Yeah.
So that's what we call confounding factors. Maybe it's something else. You know, there's always something. There's a stress, there's work stress, there's life stress, there's relationship issues. But then also there's sleep problems, which can fully be linked to perimenopause. And then there's brain fog, which is very under-researched. Again, we don't really know the exact cause. We don't know if it's hormone related. We don't know really how to treat it either. We've got very little in our toolkit if the main symptom that a woman is presenting with is brain fog.
And brain fog, define that for me, because again, it's one of those terms that flies around, but how does it present?
Yeah, so it's actually really difficult to find a concrete definition of brain fog. Generally, it's kind of a fogginess in your brain. You can't quite think clearly. It's a concentration issue. Sometimes it's even mood related.
You go into the kitchen with purpose and then you're standing at the fridge wondering why you came there.
Yeah, it's gone out of your head. You can't think of a name. You know, you're not sure why you suddenly ended up, you know, opening the fridge trying to find something. Or it can be, you know, at work, you're staring at a screen and you just can't concentrate. You can't read that page. You've read it 3 times.
I guess it's when do you decide that's just not a result of a busy mind and actually something that needs a little bit more attention?
Yeah, I mean, it depends if it's affecting you, really. As at the point where it's affecting your life or affecting your ability to do something, that's when you should really seek help about it.
And I guess that's where, you know, a tracker can come in, because it gives you that kind of sense of these patterns that emerge that, you know, we can kind of put down to day-to-day stressors and not really see the increase or the kind of reoccurrence of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, perimenopause, there are sort of 16 or so well-defined symptoms, and then there are a whole host of other ones that are probably linked. And actually, combining all of those, and, you know, it is difficult. You might have brain fog, but then you've got 10 of the other symptoms as well that you might not have linked together. And actually, if you can see them all in one place, if you're being asked about them regularly, then you can pinpoint the patterns. You can pinpoint things that are making it worse, things that are making it better, and you can help yourself.
And I imagine visiting GP with symptoms, they can sometimes all feel a bit like they could be dismissed away or explained away with life stage, but actually having some concrete, you know, data or information to go back to say, no, actually this has been happening for this period of time.
Yeah.
Or I've also experienced this.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we love data as doctors. I mean, to see it written down in black and white is great, because you've got the evidence that you need. But also, as the patient going in, you have got your ammo, you know, you've got something to talk about, you've got it there, and it just helps give you the confidence as well.
Because I think sometimes when I go to the doctor, I get brain fog. I'm like, feel quite embarrassed that I'm there in the first place. I'm like, what's wrong? Oh, nothing really. I don't know why I'm here. How are you? So I think it's good to have a list. 16 official symptoms of perimenopause. Are any of them cute?
Would you call vaginal dryness cute?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's assume that one's down the list, okay? We're kind of bracing ourselves, I suppose, for this time. Can we at least feel empowered to manage symptoms with lifestyle, or to feel like we have some level of authority?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are 2 key parts to that. The first is talking about it and support and getting prepared. And the best people to talk to are your female relatives, particularly those who have been through it. So your mom, your aunts.
So on your female line?
So
because I have aunts on my dad's side and they had a bad
yeah, that's
time.
a good question. Yeah, mainly female, but actually you can probably gauge a bit from both, and it's probably, you know, doing a bit of market research within your family is not a bad thing, just in case you end up on the more severe end of the spectrum. Okay. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, certainly menopause age does run in families from the mum side. So if you find out when your mum had it, then, you know, you may have some gauge, not always, but that's really important. And also, opening up that conversation, that's so important. We've got to talk to our kids about this. Your boys as well, sons too.
Are you saying we're preparing our kids for menopause or preparing them for the state we'll be in during menopause. I'm like, babes, brace yourselves, okay? There's a decade coming down the lines. And things are about to get real. No, I wish my mother had warned me. She never had hot flashes, but she was a psycho. She really was. And had I known...
I'm going to say both. I'm going to say both to that question.
Okay. So understanding what may be ahead, I think that's the thing. Maybe it's the kind of ignorance of like blissful on the one hand, but actually really can rattle you when you're not prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are definitely things that we can do now to prepare ourselves for the future. So, and I know it sounds cliche and everyone says it, but diet and lifestyle have never been more important.
Okay, tell me.
So diet and exercise.
Okay.
So number one, exercise. So in terms of estrogen, we've talked about dropping estrogen. Estrogen is the hormone that protects our heart and it protects our bones. And those are two really important things that we can start to protect now and during perimenopause and prepare us for the future for postmenopause. So cardiovascular disease, that's heart disease, strokes are the biggest killer of women.
I have never heard it linked to hormones and the drop in estrogen.
Yeah. So men tend to get heart disease earlier than women do, partly because they're not so protected by that estrogen hormone. Yeah. And 70% of those cardiovascular deaths are preventable. So we can prevent them by exercise, by diet, Mediterranean diet.
Lugging olive oil by the bucket load.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of those things. And not smoking. So not smoking is a really important one because smoking makes some of perimenopause symptoms worse, like hot flashes.
What about stress?
Stress can make hot flashes worse. And there are lots of sort of stress prevention techniques that actually work for lots of perimenopause symptoms, including the sleep problems, including sort of mood-related symptoms and hot flashes worsened by stress.
Talk to me about protein and how important that is.
So we lose muscle as we age and during perimenopause, and muscle is so important for many things. So eating enough protein can make sure you build muscle. That, along with strength training, are two really important things. One of the really important things about muscles is they boost your metabolism. So the other thing we see during this time of life is weight gain. And having enough muscle bulk can actually improve your metabolism and counteract some of that weight gain. So both that, so the weight gain, and then protecting your bones. So strength training and bulking out your muscle actually can protect you against fractures and breaking bones, which we know happens to over half of women over the age of 50. So it's a really, really crucial thing to do.
And like baseline, getting it in now, like laying the foundation.
Exactly. Prevention is always better than cure. If we can prevent losing it in the first place and building it now, then that's so much better.
A lot of people talk about belly fat as a specific thing at this point in life.
Yeah, so that can happen. So it's maybe like the jury's out about whether it's actually related to perimenopause or whether it's aging or a bit of both. Probably it's a bit of both. There's some hormones in the mix there. But yeah, fat can accumulate around the belly and we get that kind of more pear shape.
What about caffeine and alcohol? How do they fare?
So they're not a complete no. I mean, the WHO says there's no safe level of alcohol, mainly because we know there are quite a few risks associated with mainly higher levels of alcohol consumption. For bones, less than 3 units a day is sort of advised because more than that can increase your risk of osteoporosis. Caffeine's a little bit less stipulated, I suppose, if you like. Caffeine in relation to sleep, which is often a big problem in perimenopause, is something to watch out for sure. Making sure you're not drinking caffeine sort of after 12, but it depends a bit on you and how well you metabolize caffeine. In terms of staying awake, there's not a huge evidence for caffeine and hot flashes. Hot drinks can trigger hot flashes. But caffeine is probably not all bad.
So it's this more the effect on sleep, which can be an issue.
Yeah.
Talk to me about HRT.
So HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Now, there's a slight move in some bodies to start calling it HT, which is hormone therapy. And that's because what this medication does is it supplements the hormones that we lose during perimenopause and beyond, rather than replacing it fully to pre-menopausal levels.
Okay.
So
what, it will still be lower, it will just be less of a cliff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Drop.
As I said, lots of considerations, and your doctor will take into account your individual medical history and what you prefer as well. I think everything is personal these days. It's no one size fits all for anything. Even, HRT, we have so many different doses, we have so many different types of delivery. We've got patches, we've got pills, we've got gels. You need time to sit with your doctor, to work out, to do your reading. You use an app like Flo, which has got loads of information to educate yourself, empower yourself before you go and have that conversation, so you can really make the most out of your time and get the most personalised advice that you can get.
And so how does Flo support people right in perimenopause?
Yeah, so basically we aim at Flo to help women take control of their peri-symptoms and get the support that they need. So I work mostly, as we said, behind the scenes in developing the app, particularly the perimenopause part of the app. We've got tracking of symptoms. We've got a score that helps you understand how your symptoms are impacting your life, and lots of other features in the pipeline too. So, I mean, there is a way to switch if you're already in track mode. You just go to the settings and choose track menopause, and then you'll enter the Flo for perimenopause section of the app. So it's the same app. It's just a perimenopause sort
different
of section.
Background workings.
Yeah. So obviously in sort of just before perimenopause and during perimenopause, women still have cycles, still have periods. So we get the double whammy of period symptoms, premenstrual symptoms, cramps, and then the perimenopause symptoms starting. Yeah, fun times. And
That's
actually,
so fun.
Yeah, I know, lucky us. And during that early stages, actually, you can get those peri symptoms that cluster around periods as well. So, so Flo can help sort of pinpoint when you're getting the symptoms. Could it be peri? We're not a diagnostic tool, but it helps you understand your patterns.
And visually gives you a sense of that at a glance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for talking to me.
Honestly,
and for being interested in peri. And
I
Flo.
love it. And I've learned so much. Dr. Adiele Hoffman, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela.